Hey everyone, I'm Zen Big, this is Auto Group, and this is the 2019 Toyota Avalon XSE. It's finished in this really nice, the ruby flare pearl color on the outside. It's very nice. It has a lot of like metallic pearl coloring inside, which looks really good. It has these 19-inch half silver, half black gloss wheels. I really like them. It also has like these two-tone view mirrors because this is the XSE, meaning this is like the fully loaded sport package. So it has the mesh grille up front, the black one, not the straight lines one, and then it has this really nice spoiler that brings it like a very good touch in the back. Obviously it's not a functional spoiler or anything, but it looks very good. And also the Avalon writing is all blacked out, and so is the XSE, which creates a really good touch. And I really like it because this isn't your average Avalon. Although I did like the way the previous generation looks, this one is much more sporty, as you can tell. No matter what you think of the styling, if it's good or not, there's no denying the fact that this is a much sportier car than the last one. Also in the back, it does have quad exhaust outputs, but they're actually dual exhaust outputs. The outer ones are just a cactus finish, so they're technically just dual. It creates a really good look, but what I don't like is that they're advertising it to be a quad exhaust look, which it's not actually. So that's one thing. But anyways, off of that, it does have a very nice painted rear diffuser. It looks very good. Of course, these are all aesthetics, you know, it's not functional. These are all just things to make it look better. And this car is about 40K, so it's a lot of money, but considering what you're getting, it's pretty good. And up front, my complaint with the grille is that, okay, sure you can have your opinion on how it looks, but the problem is that most of the grille is closed. And it really kind of like, it's very anticlimactic when you look at it. You're like, oh wow, there's this big performance based grille, you know, but only the top part is open and the rest is all closed. So I don't really get that. A little bottom part is open, but then the rest of it is just, you know, blocked off, even on the sides, which is not that good. But as you can see, this is a glass like a piece on top of like the plastic piece in front of the Toyota emblem. That means this car does have radar cruise control and lane keep assist and pre-collision warning, which is really good. Let's move on to the inside now. I want to show you how sporty and awesome the interior is, because for 40K, inside you're getting full black leather on the seats with half Alcantara inserts. And it's not just any like suede material, it's actual Alcantara, and it's even on the doors, which is really good. Other than that, everything is soft touch on the top at least, and then there's this little like faux carbon type trim. Very nice stitching over here. You can press into it. The whole piece over here is leather stitched. But as soon as you move away from that, there are a lot of plastics like over the bottom. It's very like rough material. I just wish it was more smoothed out. But this car sits lower than the previous generation one, which is nice. It makes it more sporty, and the trim looks very good. Like inside, the carbon fiber trim is really good. And then we also have a sunroof over here, so it creates a nice look inside. And here's the new display that they have over here with all the navigation, and this car finally has Apple CarPlay, which is really good. In the middle, you have a pretty good LCD display for all your, you know, things inside, that your fuel, trip gauge, and, you know, it shows you the weather, it shows you your doors open or not, and you can also control like what you have on, like blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, stuff like that. Anyways, let's go also look at the trunk space. The trunk opening is really narrow, but it's nice and deep inside at least, and you can fit a lot of good like stuff. You can fit suitcases in here. Just the opening is a little small, so you might have trouble putting in the stuff, but they can definitely fit in there. So that's not that big of a problem. It's just a minor little detail I wanted to point out. Anyways, my favorite part about the whole car is the rear panel over here is very good with the lights. I like how they pop out and bulge, and then it's just one light bar, kind of like the new Audi A7, which is really good. And this stance over here in the back looks very, very sporty, and it doesn't look anything like the last generation Avalon, which also looked really good. But man, I just love the rear of this car. Anyways, now let me show you the rear space also. This is me sitting behind myself in the passenger seat, and I'm about 6'2", and I can fit fine. I mean, just the foot space underneath is pretty good also. You got a JBL speaker, which is really nice. This has a JBL premium sound system and stuff. You got an armrest over here with a little bit of storage area in the front, and then 2 cup holders in the back. You can also, of course, put that up, and then you can have more space. You can fit 3 people. The drive shaft, since this is a front wheel drive car, it doesn't have a drive shaft going to the back, but there's still a big hump over here. I don't get why that is in a front wheel drive car. I don't know. I don't get why they did that for this platform. Maybe they're gonna introduce all-wheel drive later, and it's just a platform getting ready for that type of drivetrain. your 2 USB outlets in the back, and of course you have your climate in the back, and you can turn on and off that. Also full leather seating, you know, they didn't cheap out on that, which is very good. So up in the hood, this has a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6, which Lexus and Toyota have always been making. This one makes 301 horsepower with about 267 pound-feet of torque, and the packing looks very nice. I like the way it doesn't look too big, and it don't have all those covers that you find on Lexus where you can't really appreciate looking at the engine. But of course it has all your noise canceling material that you want, so the engine doesn't become too intrusive. And anyways, speaking of that, also let's listen to the exhaust note, because Toyota actually has an active exhaust for when you put it on sport mode. I think it opens up a little bit of baffle. So this display is pretty nice and big. I like that, and it has all your menu features. And since this does have JBL, obviously, you know, you could tune all your, you could change your source, and then once you get that out of the way, you can also configure all the audio settings like your mid, bass, and treble, because this system is very easy to use, and just one click of a button you go onto map. And this car has the N-Tune app suite, so you have to open up your phone, log in from there, and then you can use your navigation. But or else, you know, you got your menu, you got your home buttons. They're very nice hotkeys that you can choose to do things, and it also tells your MPG of over here, your best, and then it also gives you your range, 5.7. That's just because we just started up the car and we just drove it over here, so obviously it's not giving you the most accurate numbers, but of course fuel economy shouldn't be that bad. So anyways, let's just go ahead and get it out on the road. And also the plastic situation is a little bit bad over here, or else everything has been nice and taken care of over here. There's good stitching. Also you have some nice storage over here, which is pretty good, and you have this little tray, and you could also take that out, and then there's more room. USB output, there are 3 of them, which is really good. So anyways, let's just go out on the drive now. So this car does have a bottom connected pedal, which is really nice. One complaint I do have for the interior of this car, besides, you know, the plastics and stuff, is the fact that the steering isn't power tilt and telescopic. The thing I love about this car is that it has a very nice stiff suspension, since this is the XSE, and of course over some bumps it's a little harsh, but it's very good still. So the steering weighs up pretty nice in a sport. I noticed that, which is really good. And the car sounds pretty good too. I like that. I love the way that the suspension is still like tight. It tells you what you need to know, but it doesn't like ruin everything for you. Turning radius is pretty good, and the steering gets nice and light. You also have trajectory for your backup camera, which is really good. Now let's also check out the paddle shifters. This does have the 8-speed direct shift, so it's in 3rd gear right now. And like the hold on a second. In the paddle shifters, okay, now it downshifted. Okay, let's see how this works out. So there's not too like bad of a delay, but you could barely hear it because the car is so quiet that you really have to look down. So now the car is in 1st gear, and let's do like a quick little launch to show you the gears. It's pretty like subdued, but at least there's not too bad of delay, and it does like throttle like downshift. It has like a little blip, so it's pretty good, and you could hear it once you really get it going. And there's like a little like bump, you feel like there's a little jerkiness that you feel when you shift. It's not that smooth, but it's not too big of a deal. The sound is really good. Like the exhaust has a little bit of sound that sounds pretty good when you downshift it, which is pretty good. And the steering is nice and light, so it feels pretty like easy to drive around, you know. Now let's try that one more time. So still there's a little bit of delay, but it's still pretty good. I like it, and it's very, you know, I again, the suspension is really good, and the car is very nice and quiet, which is what I noticed right now again. And in tight spaces, I mean, the maneuverability is really good, and the X-rate is not too sensitive. Overall, the time with the 2019 Toyota Avalon XSE has been fantastic. I love the way, like, this car has so much value for its money, you know. You get the same new platform that's in the new ES and the new Camry, the same great engine, and for only 40K, you know, that's like for a base ES, and you're getting really good value. Of course, you don't get that crazy leather lined interior and a couple other features, like with the suspension tuning is way different than when you go into a Lexus car, but everything is basically, you know, in terms of the drive, the same. The engine, I love the bottom connected pedal in here, and since this is the sport trim, it has a perforated leather steering wheel, 8-speed direct shift transmission, which is pretty good. It sounds good. It has an active exhaust and sound intake into the cabin also with this V6, and there's really no torque steer either when you actually get on it, so that's pretty good. And very limited body roll, very nice and controlled car. I really like that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this episode of Auto Group. Make sure to like and subscribe for weekly videos, and we'll see you guys in the next one. But other than that, of course, you have your little, you know, 2.1 over here, your two USB input, your two USB out. Oh yeah, my beautiful man. You know how to do that.